So today's topic is going to be about shadow works. Shadow works. The shadow of the soul. The dark shadow. So I'm going to explain the shadow and I'm going to explain how shadow works. How to apply it. Hi everybody. My name is Jerry and I want to talk about spirituality. So today I'm going to talk about shadow work. So first I want to explain what is the shadow. The shadow is a part of you that you have actually neglected in your life. Mostly there are feelings. There are feelings which you have oppressed, pushed down, pushed aside, and those feelings has become a topic on themselves. They have actually started their own life in your life, because shadow work, the shadow is always there, but the shadow can be really big or it can be really small. The bigger the ego, the bigger the shadow will be. So the shadow and the ego, they will go together, because the shadow is also like a protection mechanism of yourself, just like the ego. The ego is also a protection mechanism, a survival mechanism. First, let's explain that most of the shadow, most of the oppressed feelings, mostly it happened from 0 till 7 years. But I have actually found in my shadow oppressed feelings actually new belief systems, because the shadow is also a belief system. It's a feeling that is attached to a belief system just for in the future to protect you from that same feeling. So the shadow is from 0 till 7. It could also be triggered like in later life with a very hard breakup or some kind of abuse, traumatic things that actually happened in your life, and everybody has traumatic things. Believe me, it's not only from 0 till 7. It tends to be most of the feelings that we meet at the first time of our life is between 0 and 7, especially as a baby. You felt neglected. Most of the shadow things are motherly things. The mother is the one that's taking care of the babies. And babies, they feel your energy. And then at some time, the child feels broken. The child feels neglected. The child feels... So a lot of the feelings that we still have now, the baby already starts to feel. And then the baby starts to create its own system to survive. So it will try to please the mother by doing certain things so they can get attention again. So they start to cry. The feelings that the baby have, they make belief systems around the feelings. And that sometimes can be very traumatizing, especially as if the mother has a lot of own problems. I have actually discovered that my mother had a lot of problems with her mother. My grandmother, she actually didn't like that my father was a black guy. She was expecting my mother to have a relationship with a white guy. And she actually died of breast cancer. And then if you look at the topic of breast cancer, you will see that the breast cancer has to do with motherly love. So you make your own connections. It's another story, but so I can relate that sometimes people can feel and I can understand that can actually create a shadow part of you, because this is a thing, if your mother actually never loved you that way, even if it's your belief system, because sometimes you believe that your mother doesn't love you or your father doesn't have the love for you, is there our own belief system, things that we believe in. We actually make up our mind. So I put 1 plus 1, so they don't love me, they have never loved me in their whole life. But that becomes a belief system. And this belief system has a certain feeling attached to it. And then when you haven't resolved this belief system together with the feeling, and you have never gave yourself self-love and attention, especially those feelings, they will become part of your shadow. You will push them down till at one moment they will actually, like children, they want to get their attention. You can recognize the shadow side by your triggers. So if you're getting angry because of something, mostly it's angry, sad, they are the lower parts of the feeling chart. You know, the Hawkins chart, they are the lowest part. The highest part are your light side, or not the dark side, but the light side, of course. It's funny if you look at it. So if you get triggered by, for instance, jealousy, you are going with your spouse to a party and you see your spouse is talking with someone else that you actually think is more attractive than you, and then you start to feel jealousy. So jealousy is a good example for this thing, because everybody's a little bit jealous sometimes. But the problem with the jealousy is that the moment that you're jumping into this feeling, so you're getting angry, or you're getting sad feelings or jealous feelings. Feelings are feelings. Just feel them, you know. Don't ignore them, but just feel them. Okay, I feel jealous. Okay, it's okay to feel jealous. I am not going to compete with other people, because I'm also a very beautiful person, and that is self-love. As a partner now, when you're going home, instead of having a big argument with your partner, now you're like, okay, how was your conversation with, in a positive way? And of course, when your spouse starts to react strangely, then you know that you have a problem. So the feeling comes up. Recognize the feeling, feel the feeling. Don't push against it. Don't try to say you're stupid. Feel the feeling and let the feeling come over you and let it flow out. And then if you have the time when you go home, actually the thing is with the shadow side, if you want to discover the reason why the shadow side is there, why it's so strong, the main thing is to journal. Make a journal about the shadow side. Just write about it and then ask why. The magic word is why. When, but especially why. Why am I jealous of this person? Why am I sad? Why am I angry? Sometimes you have to ask, like, when was the first time that I actually can remember that I had this feeling? Because feelings are sometimes there because they come up, and they come up because they need your attention. Like, listen, this thing happened a while ago, and we have actually made a belief system around it, which is actually quite negative. The problem with negative belief systems is that they pull you down in life. You're not moving forward. It's a struggle. Every time a struggle. You're not growing in life. It's all dormant. It's no forward movement. And the thing is that we want to do in life is move forward and grow and go to a higher level and go to the next level of learning, of development. The shadow side is actually trying to teach you, like, okay, this is the thing that you need to learn the most about it. That's why there is the shadow. The shadow is there to create the light. You don't see the stars at daytime, you see them at nighttime. So the darkness is there to highlight the stars, to show the difference between the light and the darkness. So the shadow side is not a side to oppress. The shadow side is actually a side to embrace, like a child. Put it in your arms, give it love, give it attention, and then it will fade away. It's not a thing that happens really quick. It can happen really quick, but it depends how strong your belief system is and how much negativity is surrounded by it. But the thing you have to know is that the strongest one is the one that you will learn the most. You will learn in life, and you will remember the lesson in life, especially the lessons that were the most difficult. You will remember the marathon that you have run with medals, and you will hang it up the chimney, but you won't remember the 10 steps that you made to the shopping mall. Because the one that actually has the most pain, needs the most energy, that is actually the one that you will remember and learn. Because the moment you start to remember, you will learn the lessons about it. Because then you're going to sit and talk about what is good and what is not good. What do I actually need to learn about the whole thing, about the whole story? In every difficulty, I will call it difficulty, in every difficulty, there are at least 5 lessons. lessons. And sometimes there are the lessons that come off. Did I really had to learn about this? Yes, for sure. That's the main one. The main one is the one that you're thinking like, really? Do I have to learn this lesson about this situation? No, I don't believe so. I don't think it's that easy. And that's the one. Because spirit, life, the universe talks in metaphors. You will recognize them immediately. Like, okay, is it really this easy? Nah, could it be? I still have the problem. I still have it sometimes. I'm like, Jerry, do I really have to learn the lesson about this thing? And then maybe a few days later, okay, maybe I really had to learn a lesson about it. So the shadow side is there to teach you to go a level higher. The shadow side will stop you. The shadow side is like a child that is pulling your attention, and they are the triggers. The attention or the triggers. Please, there is something not resolved with this feeling, with this situation, and we need to resolve it. And the moment that you're giving it attention and you're giving it self-love and you're giving it healing, it will dissipate. The shadow side is something that in spirituality, if you haven't solved your problem, especially the big one, the major one, the ones that are always screaming. So I had a Facebook story in one of the spiritual Facebook groups, and this lady had a post saying, life is like open wounds and all of the problems, you carry them in your backpack. So I said like, listen, the thing that you're saying here is correct, but it doesn't have to be like that. And at that moment, I heard the whole story about her sister dying. So she actually opened her wound and explained it to me. And then she started like, who are you to talk about this thing? So I was like, okay. But I actually understood that now I was dealing with someone with a pain body. So I said, okay, I'm sorry because, but I only wanted to explain that the way that you're approaching it is a problem. You are actually opening the wound, literally opening it and then closing it, opening and closing and opening and closing. Her sister passed, I think, 3 years before, something like that. And she explained in her story that she still didn't understand why her sister took her own life, and she was still mad about the decisions that her sister made. And it was an open wound for her, and she was carrying all of the luggage in her backpack, in her mental backpack. This is a very good one because this is the shadow side. This is the shadow side that you have oppressed, and then you have actually brought it back, opened the wound, closed it again, and then oppressed it again, and then opened again, and then closed it again, and then put it back again. This is not a way you're dealing with a wound. A wound, you need to give love, attention, take care of it, put a bandage on it, and then let it heal. She was not healing yet. Listen, of course, you need your time to mourn. You need your time to get over it. But the problem is with swimming in negativity the whole 3 years long. The problem is that our mind likes repetition. So now what happens after 3 years, you will do it every day. You will open the wound, close it back, press it. I have been there, but that's another story. But the main thing you need to understand from this story is that you need to take care of your shadow side, like it is a wound that needs taking care of. Give it love, give it attention, close it up, and then let it loose. So it is a little bit easy the way I explain it, but life is just starting with small steps and then making bigger steps. So thank you for watching. My name is Jerry. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button. Hope to see you next time. Life is sweet. Life is beautiful, but you have to make it beautiful. Bye-bye.